Welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing a video from Vivek Ramaswamy called Dear YouTube.
This is a message for the leadership of YouTube. Frankly, I probably could have called you privately, but I think it's better to just talk about this in the open on this particular issue.
Calling him out publicly? Great move.
My understanding is in the last 24 hours, you locked the accounts and shut down the accounts of two guys, Nick Fuentes and Alex Jones. They have big followings on the American right. I think it's better if you just unlock those accounts and let the guys be heard.
I fully agree. Unlock the accounts, let them be heard. And great story time for me. On day one of this channel being active, YouTube had already attempted, or somebody through YouTube had already attempted, to label my channel as spams and scams. Even though I had already had my first video, my tribute to Charlie Kirk up and everything there. And it's like, that video is up. I already had videos prepped and ready to record. I had some videos chosen. I had everything ready. And then when I went to sit down to record the next day and I went over to the channel, it said, your channel has been deleted. It has been removed. That was the word. Removed. And I'm like, no, I didn't violate no policies. What are you talking about? So of course I appealed and I got my channel back pretty darn quickly, but let's hope that what Vivek says here will get Alex Jones and Nick Fuentes back, because even though sometimes they say things that even I don't agree with, they are a voice. It is freedom of speech and they deserve to be heard.
And I say this not because I'm some particular fan or vice versa. At least one of them, Nick, is probably not a particularly big fan of mine. No more than Jimmy Kimmel is, by the way, for very different reasons. That's beside the point. It doesn't matter. The reason I'm asking you to do it is that censorship isn't good for America. It's antithetical to our culture. And we're the country on God's green earth where we're able to talk to each other in the open. And I want to credit YouTube and Google and your parent company.
And to be fair, I was for Jimmy Kimmel being canceled, but not for what he said or how he said things. I was for him being canceled due to the fact that he, said things that were a little polarizing at the time. It was an ill time for a even joking manner as he tried to swing it. And I still think he should be off the air, but whatever. His viewership was the biggest thing for me. Like, he was only getting an average of 126,000 viewers per show. Like, there are YouTubers who run a 1 or 2 man team, whether it's them or them and some editor they have, like, that get that kind of views, or even more than that. Like, no, you shouldn't be having a cable TV show on something as large as ABC that only gets that little viewership. You're wasting them money 100%.
And so much of your competitors in Silicon Valley for creating the first instance of the free and open internet with search engines. It's a beautiful thing for democratizing speech. But I think we take a step in the wrong direction when we choke those same technologies that allow us to access open debate and open ideas.
And I also say that too. And I bet you he would agree here, where we're not asking them to leave every video up and to leave everything open. Obviously, if something is actual hate speech or people threatening people or something that does violate another rule, yeah, of course, get rid of that.
It breeds discontent. It breeds frustration. It actually breeds mistrust. If you tell people they can't speak, that's when they scream. And if you tell people they can't scream, that's when they tear things down. So I think free speech is a precondition for peace. It's a precondition for the scientific method. It's a precondition for our shared unity, our shared national identity as Americans. Now, I can understand why you might think that certain types of speech or certain things that are said that are hurtful to other people or that may spread misinformation or may they count as violent or dangerous threats shouldn't be allowed on your platform. I personally take a broad view of what type of speech is an expression of an opinion that's protected, but that's a separate discussion about whether somebody says a particular thing that you think doesn't belong on your platform. That's one category of speech moderation. There's a different category of saying that you may demonetize certain people. You're not going to pay them. That even if they're able to speak on your platform, it's not necessarily their right to be paid for doing so, putting
Exactly.
advertisers.
Exactly. If you don't like someone's video, don't put ads on it. Remove its monetization. Have nothing, have it not generate income for you or take income from you. Make it a net zero and have it just sit on the sidelines, Maybe it collects a few views. Maybe it does get bigger than you anticipate, but hey, that's up to the users to choose to watch it or not watch it.
Next to their name. That's a separate discussion. Personally, I don't like any of those forms of speech suppression as a general matter, but at least those are discussions that reasonable minds can have. There's a whole separate third category of censorship, though, that I think is particularly harmful, which is the idea that just because of who you are, your name and who you are, you don't get to express any idea, whether it's misinformation, hateful speech, whether it's dangerous or whatever you deem it to be. Irrespective of that, you're not making that judgment. Just based on who you are, you don't get to speak. I think that breeds mistrust. I don't think that's good for our country. There's legal arguments to be had. I've made legal arguments elsewhere in my books, in Wall Street Journal pieces, and there are legal arguments that you could construct that say that if a tech company is protected by Section 230, a government-created shield of immunity, that if a tech company is responding, even indirectly, to the threats of government officials, maybe
you can't necessarily blame the company for the things its users say unless its users say something that is a violation of your policies and rules.
that is actually even a legal First Amendment violation. That's not even what I'm talking about right now. What I'm talking about is not a legal point, it's just a cultural point. It's the question of whether this is good or bad for America. And I think we live in a moment right now where when we tell people, whether it's the government or even a powerful company, when you tell people that because of who you are, you deserve not to be heard, I think that actually divides us. Even if it's done with the best of intentions of thinking it brings most of the rest of the country together.
Oh, and with my little Jimmy Kimmel rant, I'm not saying that I don't want him on any platform. I'm just saying he should move his show somewhere where he and some editors, and maybe he can bring his, a couple of his co-hosts up there too, and do it for far cheaper. Yeah, he probably wouldn't have nearly the amount of connections that ABC can get him, but connections are for those who can put up numbers. Like, you get the views, you get the guests, you get more views, you get better guests. It's a give and take.
In the long run, it actually throws kerosene on the very flame you were trying to quash. And so that's my ask to you. I'm not trying to do this in some type of faux indignation, angry way that escalates some political fight. That's not the goal. I actually think that it's often possible to get to the right answer through just reasonable, open dialogue. That's what I hope this is. I hope you're able to reconsider a decision that you made that may have been a wrong decision. And I think we need more space as a country when people do make a wrong decision to be able to be given an off-ramp, to be able to say that, after thinking about it, yeah, we agree, we're persuaded that all else equal, even though we intended well, we ought to let people speak and be heard. That's what I hope happens here. And so my ask is, and again, speaking as a guy who, from Jimmy Kimmel to Nick Fuentes, probably don't like me very much.
Yeah.
I don't care. That doesn't matter. It's not what this is about. It's not even about the content. It's about the principle. I'd ask you to restore the accounts of those guys, and believe me, it will be a down payment on beginning to reunite this country, a project on which we have yet a very long way to go. Thanks a lot for considering.
100%. This country is far divided. It is, I would say, not on the brink of a civil war between the political parties, but if nothing changes, it will head there. And as much as, one party controlling everything and not having to fight with another party sounds like a good thing, all in all, it might wind up being the exact opposite, and we want some of this open debate. We want some softer approaches. We want some tougher approaches. We need the give and take in both areas. But we also need to have, tough borders that don't let people just randomly come in. Whoever, randomly let in whoever. We have a country that is here. We have a country that is going to fight. We have free speech, and we must exercise those rights. Go leave a like on this video. It'll be down in my description as always. Leave a like on my video, subscribe, and have a wonderful rest of your days.